It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels. Right, slight technical issues. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good evening. So this is going to be a different army list show tonight, because basically everybody's now making Sons of Sanguinius lists, because maybe we're competitive again. We're not sure if we are yet, but maybe we are. So I mean, I've had like so many list submissions this week, so we're gonna look at like 8 lists in an hour. I don't know if I can manage that, but like we're gonna loosen 8 lists. It might run over a little bit tonight. We're gonna try and look at like 8 lists, and we're just gonna try and get consensus of what people are picking that people think is strong. Would that make sense? But good evening, everybody. Thanks for being here. That's my thought. Like, it'd be better to look at more lists and get consensus. Auspex Tactics says we're literally tier 5 now. Auspex Tactics doesn't really play Blood Angels, though, does he? And Auspex Tactics, he remembers that one of the Blood Angels players went 6-0 at LVO, right? Which, if we look at that list that went 6-0 at LVO, it's only like 5 points over. Like, I know some things went up in points. It's only like 5 points over 2,000 points. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, you could still run that list that went 6-0 at LVO. If you didn't see that video, I mean, it's just on the channel a few weeks ago. So, I mean, Auspex Tactics can put us in whatever tier list bracket he wants, but this video here, you just go to YouTube Blood Angels Commander /videos. This video here is the 6-0 LVO list. And also she will be, so like the Inceptors went up in this list in points. But that's it, right? Terminator stayed the same, Death Company stayed the same, Sanguinary stayed the same, Lamarta stayed the same, Gladiator Lancer stayed the same, Redeemer stayed the same, Vindicator stayed the same, Galidus Assassin went up in points. So this list was 1965, plus 20, plus 20, so this list is 2005 points now. I'm sure if you think long and hard, you could shave 5 points off that list. So I don't know if I agree that we're the worst faction in the game, but yeah, okay, we'll take it. Let's look at what people are building. That's what we're here to look at. He might assume people are playing Sons of Sanguinius. He might, but also I think Auspex Tactics and maybe some of the other non-Blood Angels channels might be stuck in a 9th edition way of thinking. Would that be fair to say? Like, they still think Blood Angels has to be all the Sanguinary Guard and all the Death Company. Like, what about the Redeemer? What about Assault Intercessors? What about Blade Guard Veterans? What about Terminators? You know, like, the guy that just did well in the tournament wasn't running any Sanguinary Guard, for example. So, okay, anyway. Velwyn's list. This is the first list tonight. This looks like it's a 1,000-point list, but we'll look at it anyway. Okay, we're going to look at a lot of lists tonight. We're going to draw some consensus. I'm going to have to make a list to face Andrew. I'm playing on Tuesday night this week because Wednesday is Valentine's night. So I'll be playing on Tuesday night rather than Wednesday night. And I'm probably going to have I think I'm going to have 10 Assault Intercessors in a Land Raider. I think that's what I'm going to do. There could be an argument for putting a load of Blade Guard into Land Raider as well. We'll see. Okay, so I have a list for you to review for an upcoming Escalation League. A few, I'm not reading that. I'm just reading the list. Sorry. So we start with Lamartez. We've got a captain with a jump pack with Honor Vehement, and he is a warlord. I was going to say this isn't a Sons of Sanguinius list, which is a little bit sad because that's what a lot of this week's lists are, but that's fine. We've got Assault Intercessors with jump packs. I think they're fine. I guess if they're attached to a captain, they get more strength now. Strength 7 chain swords. They got one power fist in there. They got some plasma pistols in there. They've got a Tech Marine. You've got 10 Death Company All Infernal Pistols and Power Fist. You have a Librarian Dreadnought, and you've got an Annihilator. I mean, that seems fine for 1,000 points. Like, Annihilator is a tiny bit of fire support. I'm not sure you need the Librarian Dreadnought in this list, in that, like, you probably don't need to teleport the Death Company. So the only unit you're going to be teleporting is the Assault Intercessors. I generally don't like teleporting units to make charges. I think if you're going to teleport a unit, it should be shooting, because you want fail the charge. So I have a list for you to review for an upcoming game. As a few of these I was able to get a hold of, debating if I get more out of Gladius or the new Sons of Sanguinius detachment. In this detachment, I think you probably get more out of Sons of Sanguinius. Gladius isn't doing that much for you here. And I think Librarian Dreadnought is just he's super expensive, right? He's like 170. He's slow. He needs lots of units to teleport. He doesn't have that in this list. I would swap it out. Good evening, Material Witness. Good evening, Reziel. How are you? Go for it, painting. Clint says he thinks we're definitely stronger. I'm going to run Sons of Sanguinius a few more times, mainly probably because I don't hate shooting lists. Like, I've played Gladius a bunch and I've done okay, and I've run it to GT and it's fine. But I prefer playing a melee army, right? Like, I prefer... That's kind of what my Blood Angels have been for years, is a melee threat. So I'm going to play Sons of Sanguinius a few more times myself. There's a potential to go to a GT, like, in 3 or 4 weeks for me. But my kids are being really difficult. It would be 3 weeks away. My kids are being really difficult, so I can't decide if I'm going. Maybe I have to wait for the next one. I'm debating having a Tech Marine stay with the Predator, or have it move up the Librarian Dreadnought. Game plan later is to have him rush middle once I get a hold of the Land Raider Redeemer, have him help mid with the Land Raider and others. Yeah, I just don't see a Librarian Dreadnought being all that useful if you've only got 2 units and one of them has jump packs. So, Ballistus Dreadnought could be okay here. A Vindicator tank could be okay here. You could probably fit the Vindicator tank if you drop your Honor Vehement Warlord trait. So I'd probably do that. I think you need more to make the Librarian Dreadnought worth it. Anyway, what we're here to see tonight is Sons of Sanguinius list. So let's hope this list number 2, is a Sons of Sanguinius list. Good. Okay. From my experience, if you're running jump pack intercessors, you have to attach a Sanguinary Priest for the 5+ makes them much tougher to kill, and it makes them good skirmishers. Yeah, I don't have 10 jump pack intercessors, unfortunately. I did spray the models that I was making last night today. So I sprayed my lieutenant with the power fist, and my chaplain, and some of the random models. I should probably get 10 jump intercessors. I only bought 5 of them when they first came out. Anyway, let's look at the Sons of Sanguinius, because this is what we're here to see. So, captain with a jump pack, chaplain with a jump pack, Lamartez, Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack. I'm going to just pull... I think I have it up anyway, but because I haven't played Sons of Sanguinius, I don't even remember what this is. Okay, so this gives you 1 more AP. So the chaplain gets 1 more AP on his Corosius, and somebody says Corosius 6 minus 2/2, and gives him a 2+ save. There is an argument there to not have the Infernal Pistol in that chaplain, have a Power Fist, because your Power Fist gets pretty good when it goes to AP3. Not many, there isn't hardly any melee weapons anymore that are AP3, to be honest. Hello, Todd, good evening. Hey, Ardeen, how are you doing? The Leviathan Space Marine kits are up for pre-order today. Oh, interesting. I never even knew that. Are they actually the monopose ones, or are they like the more broken down kits where you get some customization options? All right, we got 2 Death Company Dreadnoughts, Magna Grapparos, Melty Guns, double Furioso Fist. One with Furioso Fist, one with Blood Talons. I feel like you should just go double fists on both of them. There's more strength, there's more toughness, there's more AP. Yes, you get a couple less attacks, but I think you're just going to wound... These things are supposed to go after tough targets, like vehicles and monsters with tons of toughness. So I think you're always better having the twin Furioso Fists, in my opinion. We've got 10 Death Company and 5 Death Company. So the Chaplain is going to lead one. Lamartis is going to probably lead the 10-man. We've got Devastator Squad with Grav Cannons and a Heavy Bolter and a Las Cannon and a Missile Launcher. Strange loadout for the Devastator Squad, actually. So it kind of feels like it's a mismatch of just what he has. Because I don't know if I think... If I was going to run Devastators, I think I would do 4 Las Cannons, because Heavy Bolters are meh. Missile Launchers are kind of meh as well. Grav Cannons are great into vehicles, but if you come up to like a monster mash list, then you're going to have problems. So I think Las Cannons are your best all-rounder. They got longest range as well. He has a couple of Firstborn Dreadnoughts in here, and they do provide buffs, reroll ones to hit for a unit nearby, so this could actually be useful for the Devastator Squad. So again, I think just Las Cannons would be better. This is a strange Sons of Sanguinius list, actually, and there's 6 Dreadnoughts in here. So he's got 2 Furiosos in there as well. He's got the Vanguard Veteran Squad, all with Storm Shields. We do have the Sanguinary Priest, probably, for the Vanguard Veteran Squad. We do also have a Captain for the Vanguard Veteran Squad. So you've got Captain, Priest, and 10 Van Vets, Lamartis and 10 Death Company, Chaplain and 5 Death Company, Devastator Squad, 2 Death Company Dreadnoughts, 2 Furioso Dreadnoughts, 2 regular Dreadnoughts. So you've got 3 units of Jump Infantry, you've got 6 Dreadnoughts and 1 Devastator. Firstly, there's the classic Lamartis leading the Yep, Chaplain with the Jump Back leading with Thunderhammers, Power Fists, Infernal Pistols, etc. Second are the Death Company Dreadnought with Blood Talons and Twin Furioso Fists for nasty anti-infantry and vehicles. I think the Death Company Dreadnought kills enough infantry without Blood Talons. I don't think the 2 extra attacks for Blood Talons make a whole load of difference. I do think a Death Company Dreadnought will kill a Land Raider probably in 1 turn of combat. That's valid. Magna Grapples are good for units arriving from Strategic Reserve. We know that. Furioso Dreadnoughts do mortal wounds when they arrive for Strategic Reserve. That's good as well. What, I was going to say, he actually just gave up on the... He put 2 Furioso Fists on all the Dreadnoughts. So there's no, like, I forget what they're called. The Frag Storm Cannons. I guess the Frag Storm Cannons are rubbish now. Furioso Dreadnought, where are you? Heavy Frag Cannon, D6 Blast, Rapid Fire D6. Okay, so it's random as all hell. Strength 7, -1, 2. I mean, I guess it's equivalent of like having a couple Heavy Bolters with a bit more strength. It's probably worth having the Twin Linked on the Fists. Yeah, I think it's probably worth having the Twin Linked on the Fist. Okay. The 2 regular Dreadnoughts are there for staying behind to screen, protect the deployment zone, and give rerolls to the Devastator Squad. You could probably do that better with a squad of Infiltrators. But okay, I mean, a regular Dreadnought with a Plasma Cannon and Assault Cannon. Interesting loadouts. Like, well, I say interesting. I guess just loadouts no one's running. I don't even know the profile of Plasma Cannon or regular Dreadnought. Well, it's a heavy Plasma Cannon. So it's a 2-shot. Strength 8 -3/3 if you overcharge it. The Assault Cannon, I hate the Assault Cannon. I think it's rubbish. I would take a multi-mantle over the Assault Cannon. I guess I would take a Plasma Cannon over the Assault Cannon. I think the Assault Cannon is kind of rubbish. So, let me know what you think. And since you're always confused about it, the Dev Squad is equipped with what it is because I modelled them as such when I was 16 years ago. Okay, agreed. Yeah, we kind of said that it was just going to be what models he had. Cedric says, "Hi John, sorry for my English. I'm a French Blood Angels player. Regarding Auspic's tactics, Blood Angels weakest and Custodes good now. I'm playing training game against Custodes with SOS list and a win. And I win. Maybe you won. Yeah, I mean, I think SOS is better. I'm just not sure it's bottom of the barrel. I think SOS with a good bit of shooting is probably better. And I mean, like, a list like this is SOS with a good bit of shooting, really. Because we've got 6 dreadnoughts. I mean, technically 6 dreadnoughts isn't shooting, but it's a lot of durable stuff that's going to get in people's faces and cause some problems. I actually don't mind this list. I don't know if it's the sort of list I would run, because it's very melee heavy. If you're going to have those firstborn dreadnoughts in the backfield, actually, I think you'd be better with twin las cannons. So that you've just got long range. If you're using them to screen the backfield, then just have them with las cannons. The Devastators obviously need las cannons as well. I think the Furioso Dreadnought is fine for 150 points. I don't think it's great, but I think it's fine. I think the Death Company Dreadnought is pretty good at 165. Used right from reserve, I think is pretty good. Death Company, our best unit, comboed with Lamartas and a Chaplain, is both good. And Vanguard Veterans with the Priest and a Captain. It's expensive, I guess, to do Vanguard Veterans with a Priest and a Captain, right? Captain with Jump Pack 85, Sanguinary Priest 90, Van Vets 210. So you're looking at 385, right? Whereas, like, if you wanted to do 10 Assault Intercessors plus a Priest, I think is 80. So you're like 230. That unit will do just as much damage. They'll still have a 5-up Feel No Pain. Obviously, you have to give up the Jump Pack, but potentially you can ferry them to where you need them to be in a Redeemer. And the Redeemer brings... Yeah, I'll need to give the Vanguard Veterans with Jump Packs a whirl, but I do think they're expensive for what you get. Especially when you add the Priest and the Captain. So Vanguard Veterans are strength 7 on the charge. So they become strength 8 by adding the Captain, and obviously get the free stratagem. I actually don't know if it feels worth it to pay 85 points for that Captain to go from strength 7 to strength 8. Because that's essentially what it's doing, right? Captain with a jump pack is just changing you from strength 7 to strength 8 and giving you the free stratagem. 85 points. I mean, I guess because you might need to play Red Rampage on other units, you kind of have to do it. But then that's why maybe it might be better to have like a Assault Intercessor squad with a Captain, or Assault Intercessor squad with a Priest just out of a Land Raider and keep it cheap. Yeah. It's an interesting one, yeah. They can survive a hit and they'll do good dose of damage. Yeah, they'll do good dose of damage on the charge. Once they have, you know, I guess they might have to fall back. I don't know, I haven't played Vanguard Vets and the Priest for a while. I was going to say, do I want to try that at some point? I don't know if I want to try that because I feel like Death Company are our most damaging unit. I think if I'm running Jump Infantry, I'm probably going to run Death Company. Yeah, the Vanguard Veteran's a little bit more survivable. But maybe that's... survivability is maybe not what I'm looking for. I don't know. I'll try it at some point, but Atlas generally finds them worse because Hammer of Wrath is very useful. Yeah, I mean, like, there's something to be said about Toughness 4 Marines just dying very quickly regardless of the situation. If you give them a Storm Shield, they'll still die pretty quickly. If you give them a Feel No Pain, I guess that helps. But potentially a unit with jump packs will usually be able to get the first strike on the enemy. They're fast enough to move from cover to cover, so you're making the charge. And if you're making the charge, then you probably just want to be able to do more damage on the charge. So, doing like an average of 5 to 6 mortal wounds from the jump intercessors is possibly better. Okay. We have a Captain and Terminator Armor in this next list, another Sons of Sanguinius list. We have a Judiciar and we have Liv Martas. We have 5 Assault Intercessors, a Thunderhammer, and a Plasma. I'd always take the Power Fist over the Thunderhammer. That's the model I was literally building last night, because of course my Sergeants have Thunderhammers, and now Thunderhammers only hit on 4s. You only get 3 attacks with a Thunderhammer, so 3 attacks hit on 4s, statistically, is not a lot of hits. So I really don't like the Thunderhammer on the Assault Intercessor Sergeant anymore. I guess Blood Angels get +1 attacks, but still, it's 4 attacks hitting on 4s, so really you only get 2 hits. The Power Fist is probably going to guarantee a whole extra hit, so it probably makes up for not having dev wounds. We've got 3 Aggressors. We've got 5 Assault Intercessors with jump packs with a couple of Plasma Pistols. We've got 6 Blade Guard. We've got 10 Death Company with the Power Fist and Infernals. We've got 5 Terminators with Power Fist and Assault Cannon. The Assault Cannon's rubbish. Like, take the Cyclone Missile Launcher. I know the Cyclone Missile Launcher isn't great, but I would 100% take the Cyclone Missile over the Assault Cannon. I would even take a Heavy Flamer over the Assault Cannon, honestly. My experience of Assault Cannons, feel free to disagree with me in chat, but I think Assault Cannons are literally bottom tier weapons. Like, they are worse in my opinion than Heavy Bolters. They're worse in my opinion than like even like bolt rifles from my Heavy Intercessors, I think are better. It's because they're no AP. It's like they don't have any way to fire and they're no AP. Yeah, I mean, I guess they'll kill orcs, but normally killing orcs isn't really the problem. Like, what I want to be able to kill with like an assault cannon is I want to take a few wounds off Terminators or something like that. It never friggin' happens. We've got 2 Lancers, we've got Librarian Dreadnought, we've got a Redemptor Dreadnought. This is an interesting one. So this is a Sons of Sanguinius list with really only the 10 jump pack guys. The 1 Death Company squad. Everything else is foot slogging. I mean, he does have a drop pod. Sorry, what can even go in the drop pod in this? Can Assault Intercessors go in the drop pod? Judiciar with the Blade Guard. Blade Guard Blade Guard Judiciar in the drop pod to take a hard to reach objective turn 1 and keep it for as long as possible. The Redemptor giving fire support. I mean, sure, I guess. Interesting idea, but I mean, maybe it works. The Librarian Dreadnought will teleport the aggressors into any holes in the backfield or close to take out any elites. The Terminators to deep strike in. Thinking of swapping the Terminators assault cannon. Terminators for assault lightning claws, or maybe just give them the chain fists. I think Terminators are better with power fists now than chain fists, honestly. Chain fists get 1 less attack. Or do they get the same attacks, but they have less weapon skill? Chain fists. You got 1 less weapon skill, right? But on the charge, we're hitting at strength 10 now. So the only situation, I suppose, where... And most of the time, if you're charging, you're probably going to play Red Rampage. If you're charging something difficult to kill, you're probably going to want to pay Red Rampage. So it's like you're 1 worse to hit on the Chain Fist, but the second you play Red Rampage, then you're 1 better to wound. You're only 1 behind on the Power Fist. So these 2 things average each other out. So as long as you're willing to play Red Rampage on that squad when it charges, then there's no reason to take Chain Fists unless you're tailoring against a vehicle heavy list. And if you're up against a vehicle heavy list, or you're up against a non-vehicle heavy list like monsters or demons or anything that's not a vehicle, you're actually worse off. So I think the Power Fist is just better across the board now, which is what most people... Power Fists are what came in the Leviathan box, so I imagine most people have a squad of Terminators. So I wouldn't bother about Chain Fists. I wouldn't give Terminators Lightning Claws either. They don't do a lot of damage. Chain Fist to take out tanks. Remember, Chain Fist's anti-vehicle doesn't work against monsters. Yeah, Chain Fist used to be -4, you're right, Hellion Phoenix, and that was one of the reasons that made them so good. I think John, the BA, know how to min-max, and every list doesn't do it. For example, a lot of T6 is less than the vehicles of Deep Strike, and the list is a mix of vehicles and Marines. Yeah, I think that's probably right. Like, if you're just gonna run shitloads of toughness 4 infantry with jump packs, you're probably going to struggle even with the new Sons of Sanguinius rules. You have to have, I think, some shooting in your list, because this edition is more about shooting than melee. And I think you have to have probably some Gravis or Terminators in your list, because you need some shit that will actually survive the entire game. So that's maybe why, like, Auspex Tactics said we're the worst chapter in 40k. Well, yeah, if you try and hold objectives with toughness 4 Marines, you're not going to hold the objectives, right? But, you know, like, this list has 2 Gladiator Lancers, a Redemptor Dreadnought. You know, like, you start putting these things in, and then I don't think we're the bottom of the pile, as everybody wants to say. And remember, we still got Oath of Moment, so you can still use Oath of Moment on a Redemptor Dreadnought. You can still use Oath of Moment on a squad of aggressors or something. So you can still do quite a bit of damage. Clint says 25 to 30% shooting. Yeah, I was honestly actually thinking about running 2 Land Raiders as my shooting focus, Clint. Like, 1 Land Raider will have 4 las cannons, 1 will be a Redeemer, and then maybe I'll run like a Lancer, and that will be me. So 2, or a Ballistus Dreadnought, because they're cheap, I suppose. Like, so basically, like, 2 Land Raiders and something else. 2 Land Raiders is like 500 points. Something else like 150 or something. So like 650 points. Did you react to the Leviathan standalones coming out this week? I did not, Mullen. Someone just told me about it earlier in the stream. What do you want me to react on for him, or what opinion are you looking for from me? Are they on the Games Workshop website now? Because I honestly haven't been following it. Okay, so hopefully in this list he thinks the big hitters will give Death Company and Marta's assault intercessors time to attack infantry models, and the Lancers will do Lancer things. This is how I think you have to run Sons of Sanguinius. And I think if you run them like this, you're probably not in too bad a state, right? Like, some Terminators to be durable on objectives. Blade Guard, I think, are really probably very good in Sons of Sanguinius now, because they are strength 7 on the charge. And here's the thing that, like, I didn't think about this until, like, today, actually, because someone put a comment in one of my videos. You could put, because the Redeemer takes 14, right? So you could put 2 6-man squads of Blade Guard and 2 characters attached, like 1 Judas ER. What else would be good to attach to Blade Guard? A Chaplain. So you could have a Chaplain, a Judas ER, and 12 Blade Guard veterans in a Land Raider. That actually sounds pretty scary, right? Like, that's a lot of models. That reminds me of the Death Guard putting like 12 Plague Marines inside a Rhino, which is a bit silly. But that seems like a lot of guys. That would be 12 Blade Guard and 2 characters piling out of your Land Raider Redeemer in turn 2. So your Land Raider Redeemer turn 1 is not really going to be able to shoot much anyway, so it just advances somewhere. So it moves forward somewhere between like 13 and 18 inches. It's going to get targeted, so you're going to smoke screen it, or you're going to Armor of Contempt it, whatever you think you need to do to keep it alive. And then in turn 2, it's going to move forward 12. You can disembark both 7-man squads of Blade Guard plus characters, and then you're going to make some charges. That sounds pretty interesting. So I think 6 Blade Guard are a good unit. I think now that they're strength 7, if you're giving them lethal hits, if you're giving them +1 to wound, they're probably going to be actually pretty nasty, Blade Guard. And Blade Guard are durable, and they also have the baked-in rerolls to hit as well. So, yeah, I think this list is not bad. Let's keep moving on, because we've got a lot of lists to get through and not a lot of time. Next list, Sons of Sanguinius list. This is from Irish Hand Gren. He's got a Captain with a jump pack, a Chaplain with Terminator armor, a Chaplain with a jump pack, a Lieutenant, Assault Intercessor 10-man. I like it. I've not seen many 10-mans, but I was thinking about trying a 10-man this week, honestly. We've got the 6 Blade Guard. We've got Death Company Dreadnought. We've got 5 Death Company times 2. So I guess one of them will be attached to one of the chaplains. Probably an infiltrator squad, a redeemer, or a repulsor. This would also be the poor man's way of doing my idea of 2 land raiders, right? Like a repulsor is 190 points, is significantly less than a land raider. And if you have a land raider, redeemer, and a repulsor, and you roll both of them straight up the middle of the board, if they don't shoot your redeemer and they take out the repulsor, that's probably a win for you, right? Because the repulsor is the cheaper of the 2 things. You're not going to lose 2 toughness 12, 16 wound models in a single turn unless the gods of chaos are against you, right? Like, it's not going to happen. So you'll lose 1 of them. I don't think you'd ever lose 2 of them. I don't think that would ever happen. It might if you're like super unlucky, but like if they're going to take out the repulsor, then that's fine because your Land Raider Redeemer is going to fly forward and get, multiple things charging out of it. We've got the Scout Squad. We've got the Terminator Squad with Storm Shields and Thunderhammers. My opinion of these after looking at them this week is like, this is a bad unit. Like, you would just be better running Terminators with Stormbolters and Power Fists. Like, there's nothing that this Thunderhammer squad has, in my opinion, that makes them better than the Power Fist guys. There's like 2 tiny little edge cases that they might be better in. And the edge cases are, if you're getting hit by like Angron, who is D6 plus 2, then you know that every single time, even if he rolls a 1 for damage, it's a dead Terminator. So like, he could roll a 1 for damage and you'd have a Terminator survive on 1 wound because these guys have 4 wounds with a Storm Shield. That's a super edge case. I feel like it's not even worth discussing because it's going to happen so infrequently that it's going to be Angron or some other big demon that or a Catan or something that's like D6 plus 2, right? It's going to happen so infrequently, I feel like because he has to roll a 1 for it to even matter. It's going to happen so infrequently that it doesn't make them any better. And then their ability is just not as good, right? Like the other Firstborn Terminators can get +1 to hit. These guys already hit on 4s. It's bad. They don't get any weight of attacks. I really dislike this squad. I almost think that this squad is just given bad rules because they don't have an upgraded kit. Kind of how Sangre Guard have been given bad rules because they don't have an upgraded kit. I feel sad because we have a really cool Blood Angels Assault Terminator squad, and I've got like 40 of those guys, but they're honestly dog shit in my opinion. It's my opinion. You're welcome to disagree with me in chat. I would always run just regular Terminators with Power Fists. We were looking at them a little minute ago. They're actually 10 points cheaper, right? There's literally no reason these guys should be cheaper because if they target your Oath target, you get +1 to hit. They've got some guns. I mean, technically you've got a crack missile launcher in there that could actually do 12 damage. Not that it ever will do 12 damage, but it could. And you basically have the same profile, but you hit with +1. So you hit on 3s rather than 4s and you lose devastating wounds. But if you go into your Oath target, you hit on 2s. Yes, you don't have devastating wounds, but you hit on 2s versus hitting on 4s. Hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, because your Oath target, is like a 97% chance to hit. Hitting on 4s re-rolling is a 75% chance to hit. So you're going to get the same 20 attacks from both squads. One squad's got Power Fists, one squad's got Thunderhammers. But you're basically going to get 19 hits with Power Fists against 15 hits with Thunderhammers. I feel like 19... Yes, you're going to get a couple of dev wounds through. Okay. I guess if you think having 4 less hits... And that's before wound rolls, I guess. If you think having 4 less hits is going to be balanced by having dev wounds, you're maybe going to get a couple of dev wounds. So it's like, they basically do the same thing, but these guys get a bunch of guns as well. And if you don't have Oath of Moment up, then the Thunderhammers, you're only going to get 10 hits. Whereas if you don't have Oath of Moment up, you're going to get like 13 hits with the Power Fist. So I can't... If the Thunderhammers hit on 3s, I would say the Terminator Assault Squad is not bad. Because they hit on 4s, I'd say it's bang average, and you're paying 10 points better for very little difference whatsoever. Max says, I lost a Redeemer and 3 Brawl Predators turn 1 against Tau last week. Yeah, well, I mean, you didn't deploy well then, I guess, Max. Sorry. Tau Yeah, Tau are nasty as shit in shooting. I played them at an event and it was horrific actually. And when they get to turn 3, they're even nastier. But yeah, if you're playing up against Tau, you need to have every single model in your army should be obscure turn 1. I mean, you should probably try and get into the habit of doing that anyway, because you never want to lose stuff in turn 1 if you go second. So try and learn from that and go through. Try and learn from that and like go through take I always take photos of my deployments. You know, like when I go to tournaments and stuff, and I always try and make sure that like. Well, if you watch any of my live games, very rarely, if I go second, is anyone able to target anything in my army turn 1. And yeah, maybe you might say that's overly cautious, but you don't want to give away a 200 point model or something for free, right? Reziel says, let's be honest, neither Terminators are very impressive. I don't think they are impressive, Reziel. I think you're right, but they are the only unit that has a 2-up, 4-up for Space Marines, right? And they are T5. So the defensive profile is decent. It's the best we can get. And the guy that went in 6-0 in the LVO was 6-0 using a squad of Terminators. So I think there is a space for them, but they're not my favourite, that's for sure. I haven't been running Terminators. And I own a fuckload of Terminators, let's be honest. Jump Chaplain leads the Van Vets. I don't know if I feel like you need a chaplain to lead 5 Van Vets, but okay. All jump units start on the board to jump from cover to cover. That's a good plan. You can always start 1 in reserve for rapid ingress if you wanted. The lieutenant attaches to the assault intercessors for the chainsword lethals, transported in the repulsor to the center. That's pretty cool. And that is a poor man's way of getting a shed load of melee into the middle. The Terminator Chaplain and Terminators go in the Redeemer for movement and assault ramp. This also adds the Chaplain aura for the Death Company. The Death Company is in reserve. So this is a WYSIWYG list with the Death Company. I would just not play it as WYSIWYG and have 5 Infernal Pistols and 5 Power Fists in both squads. Dropping the Repulsor and enhancements for an Executioner is an option. My verdict of having used the Executioner a few times is I don't think it's a good vehicle. I don't like it at all. And then I would put Blade Guard in it, and I could swap the Lieutenant to the Blade Guard for lethals, fall back and trying some buffed melee with 4 up invulnerables. The 4 up invulnerables would be fine. Just take regular Terminators, not the Storm Shield version. I feel like I'd rather just attach my Chaplain to the Death Company. I think it's better than him being attached to the Van Vets. Because the Death Company's Power Fists get a ton of value out of +1 to wound. Having it all the time. I guess there's a Chaplain in Terminator armor as well, just to keep the Terminators alive and also give out the auras to the Death Company. That's fine. I like the idea of the Repulsor with Lieutenant. It's a little bit sad you don't have a Sanguinary Priest to attach to the Assault Intercessors there as well, but I mean, you can't have everything, right? And is there anything else to say? Sorry, the Jump Captain leads the Van Vets. Is that a valid squad? A 105 point Jump Captain plus 5 Van Vets. I mean, I guess it can blend some infantry. Again, you've got a Thunderhammer in here. I have a Power Fist. It doesn't matter you don't have the right model. Just write on the battle report it's a Power Fist. Yeah, because I don't ever field Terminators at the moment. If Terminators have a 2-up save and they get hit with 1 AP in cover, they're still on a 2-up save, right? So I was trying to work out, like... Because I was thinking about this was, like... For example, if your Terminators are getting hit by heavy bolters and they're in cover, the Storm Shield actually doesn't help you at all, because 2 heavy bolter shots will kill a 3-wound Terminator, and 2 heavy bolter shots will kill a 2-wound Terminator, right? Cover only doesn't work for 3-up or better. I thought that, but there's some cover Cover can't improve your save. But if you're on a 2-up save and you have cover and you're into -1 AP, it's still a 2-up save, right? Because I think I got this wrong. 2+ in cover is very desirable because the AP stat does matter. Yes, I'm right. So I think that's probably the way that the guy used Terminators. I think he probably used like a unit of shooting Terminators on an objective, on a 2-up save, ignore and run for cover. I guess if they get shot by something or whatever, if you've got the captain and is attached, you just Armor of Contempt them every turn. So basically they're ignoring 2 AP. So they're T5 ignoring 2 AP, and they're just going to sit on an objective. And I think that's probably how you lose Terminators. I don't think they do a lot of damage, but I think that's probably how you use the Terminators, right? Benefit of cover. Let me just read this.
I have awoken.
Oh, Andonius, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. That is much appreciated. Really do appreciate it. If anyone got a gifted membership and you've not had one before, make sure you link up your Discord, come into our members only room.
I have awoken.
So each time a ranged attack is allocated model at benefit of cover, add 1 to the saving throw from that attack, excluding invulnerable throws. Models with a save characteristic of 3+ or better that cannot have the benefit of cover against attacks with armor characteristic of 0.
I have awoken.
Okay, so because the Terminators have a 2-up save, they do get the benefit of cover. So yeah, I think that's probably how you play the Terminators and you make them work. And this is why you probably don't want Storm Shield Terminators. You just want Terminators with bolters and Cyclone missile launchers. Because you sit them in an objective, in cover, if they're shot at, you just Armor of Contempt them because there's a captain there. And then you're ignoring... So they have to hit you with 3 AP for you to save on 3 ups. Right? So they only get you on your invulnerable save if they hit you at -4 AP. I think I might have been playing my Centurions wrong, because I've had Centurions in cover, and I'm sure I didn't take the one off for the AP. But no, thanks so much for the gifted. Much appreciated. I'm low on memberships this month, apparently. I don't know if it's just everyone's still hanging on. Everyone's broke after January. So much appreciated. Thank you, dude. All right, let's look at... So we're on like list 5. We're on Sons of Sanguinius. There's loads of lists coming in. This list looks crazy. Holy crap, look at all these characters. Astaroth, the captain with the jump pack, the Visage of Death, the chaplain with the jump pack, the lieutenant with the combi weapon, a sanguinary priest with the jump pack, a sanguinary priest with the jump pack, and Tycho the Lost. This guy's gone like, this guy's think, who's this? MCDXCom. I think MCDXCom thinks we're playing like 2nd edition Warhammer. Holy crap. That is an insane amount of characters. How many points is that? It might not be as bad as I thought. No, it's pretty bad. 620 points on characters. It's about double what you want to spend on characters. It is Hero Hammer, yeah. So he's got Razorback Rhino. Okay, he is actually stuck in a time warp. He is in 2nd edition, Jesus. 2 las cannons on each of the Razorbacks and a Rhino. We've got 10 Assault Intercessors with jump backs, another 10. We've got double Ballistus Dreadnoughts. We've got 10 Death Company... These guys do have jump packs based on the fact they're 230 points, I think? No. So 10 Death Company with no jump packs. 5 with jump packs. Squad of Scouts times 2. Okay, he actually has very little infantry because he's got 600 plus points in characters. 5 Death Company with jump packs. 20 Assault Intercessors with jump packs. And 10 Death Company without. So 35 infantry, give or take. Exclude the Scouts. The Scouts aren't really killing anything, right? He's going to try this list. Tycho and Death Company in the Rhino as a guided missile to disrupt as much as possible the first turn. The issue I have with Tycho is he isn't a chaplain. So your 10 Death Company with him will have OC0. So even if you kill what you need to kill on the objective, you don't take the objective. Because I assume Tycho has OC0 as well, actually, right? Like, I don't really run Tycho the Lost. But he does have the Black Rage, so he does OC0 as well, right? Yeah, he is Black Rage. So unless there's a chaplain within 12 inches, OC0. I generally don't like Death Company without chaplains because they'll be OC0, right? Which is worrying. Scouts in the Razorback as this allows the Razorback to infiltrate too, as it's a designated transport. I did not know that was the thing. I guess that was from the rules commentary. Is that worth it? Do people think that's worth it? I included scouts on my list with pistols and blades because if they do charge, they get strength 6 scouts with 1 attack each. I was going to say, yeah, the only advantage I like to having the shooting scouts, Reziel, is to have, and he hasn't done it here, I think you want, like, in my scout squads, I have each squad with, like, 3 shotguns. Because the shotguns let you advance, what do? They let you advance and perform actions, and I feel like that would be good for scouts. But yeah, I mean, pistols and blades, maybe. I never even thought about scouts having strength 6 on the charge, I guess. Are Blade Guard worth running a squad of 3? I think they're great, Odie, in a squad of 3. I've run them to tournaments on a squad of 3. I actually think I prefer 3 Blade Guard holding an objective over like 5 Intercessors, and they're 10 points... Oh, well, they used to be 10 points cheaper. They're maybe about the same points now. If you math 3 Blade Guard fighting 5 Intercessors in melee, the Blade Guard will just eat them alive. So I prefer having like 3 Blade Guard hold an objective. It also means when the enemy shoots them with stupid things like las cannons, you'll get your 4-up save on the Storm Shield. 3 wounds is a good break point. I can totally get behind running Blade Guard in 6s. I've done it before. I've run it to tournaments, but I've also run 3s to tournaments as well. And I like both. Honestly, both are fine. I think Blade Guard are actually really good in 3s. And if you saw my game of boarding actions last week, the Blade Guard in 3s were amazing in boarding actions. So the Captain and Priest with each squad of Intercessors. I think this is a better unit than Death Company with the free red Rampage. Captain and Priest with Intercessors. I guess you like the mortal wounds. I don't know if I agree that 5 mortal wounds from a 10-man squad of Intercessors is better than 10 guys with Power Fists. The maximum damage 10 guys with Power Fists can do, they get 4 attacks each. Yeah, would be 80 damage. The maximum attacks the jump Intercessors could do would be like 50 damage, so I don't agree with that. But I guess mortal wounds are handy to have. So he says I'm on limited stuff because I don't have a lot of new stuff. Well, I think you need to drop like 2 characters for a start. Like, I don't think you can run 630 points of characters. I'm actually okay with your transports. I'm kind of okay with your jump units. I think you could add some Blade Guard here. I think you could add that squad of Terminators we just talked about to hold objectives. I think you could add maybe some Infiltrators to keep the backfield a bit safer. Heavy Intercessors would be decent. I mean, there's a lot you could add, but I guess it feels like you don't have enough units in this list because you've spent 600 points on characters and 300 points on transports. I think it's just too much. I mean, Razorbacks for 95 points aren't the worst thing in the world, but when you only have 1 shot from a las cannon, you're probably going to miss. You'd be amazed at how often you miss or fail to wound with a las cannon when you only have 1 shot. It seems to happen all the time, right? 10-man jump Intercessors are like 90 points cheaper than 10 Death Company. Yeah, but I think they do like half the damage, right, Atlas? Because they only 9 of them only have 1 damage weapons, and they have half the AP as well. So while they will do like 5 mortal wounds on the charge, you will end up doing half the damage. Their maximum damage is half, but then their AP is half as well, and their strength's a lot less as well. So it's arguably harder to wound, easier for the opponents to save, and you're doing half damage. I think the Death Company are the better choice. I mean, he's allowed to think that he prefers the Assault Intercessors. Like, if that's his opinion, he thinks Assault Intercessors are better. They do 5 mortal wounds on the charge or something. That's nice. Did you lose Librarian Dreadnought in my list? Yes, because I think it works better in Gladius probably than it does in Sons of Sanguinius, and I think I'm going to spend a few weeks playing Sons of Sanguinius and seeing if I can get on board with... I've played 2 games of Sons of Sanguinius, one Boarding Actions, one 10th edition. I really enjoyed it. I feel like Blood Angels players enjoy playing melee armies more than we enjoy playing shooting armies. We play shooting armies because we were pushed that way because of crappy index rules, right? Death Company have so much more synergy in play across the entire meta, it's not just going to be possible to take a better unit in Blood Angels currently. Yeah, I kind of agree with Reziel here, I think. Death Company are the best... They're the best jump unit that we've got. You know, they've got a built-in Feel No Pain, they've got Strength 8 -2 damage, they've got good attacks, they've got built-in rerolls to hit. They can also take Infernal Pistols with built-in rerolls to hit. They're just a great unit. Even at 130 points or whatever it is, 260 for 10, they're the best unit we've got, 100%. I don't know where we put them in the tier list, but I really hope that we put them as the best unit. Okay, next unit, another Sons of Sanguinius. We get through so many of those lists tonight. See, maybe what we'll start seeing is patterns of what people think is strong for Sons of Sanguinius, right? We've got Captain of the Jump Pack, Chaplain of the Jump Pack, Lamartes, Librarian Phobos. We don't see this guy very often. And then Sanguinary Priest with a Jump Pack and Icon of the Angel. I don't know if I rate Icon of the Angel, honestly. It makes it that you can't fall back or some nonsense. If you're... each time an enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, want to fall back, they have to take a desperate escape. I guess if you've got 10 points left at the end of your list, fine. I don't think it's that strong, but I'm guessing you just had 10 points left over. Okay. So Heavy Intercessors, love these guys. They're great. Battle line, good. 10 Assault Intercessors, double Ballistus Dreadnought. We've seen double Ballistus Dreadnought quite a few times tonight. I think double Ballistus Dreadnought is not bad, because it's only 180 points, some built-in rerolls. It's 4 las cannon shots, it's 4 strength 10 crack missile shots. I think it's not bad for 280 points. And also strength toughness 10 with 2 up save. 12 wounds, I believe. I like Ballistus Dreadnoughts. I was actually outside spraying today. I don't know why the hell I didn't spray my second Ballistus Dreadnought. I'm an idiot. Infiltrator Squad, 1 Executioner, and having played 1 Executioner, I really dislike it. But maybe it... I was going to say, maybe it's okay if it's teamed up with 2 double Ballistus in there as well. 2 Scout Squads, 10 Vanguard Veterans, and the Calidus Assassin. So the Calidus Assassin people are still taking. What do you think about Foot Slogging Death Company from a Land Raider? Perhaps with a Chaplain. I do like the sustained hit spoon, they're below starting strength. Yeah, so the tactical crozier, is, as far as I'm aware, is put the Foot Slogging Death Company in the Land Raider, give them plasma pistols, fall them out the Land Raider, overcharge all the plasma pistols, hope that you fail one of your hazardous rolls so you kill one of your own guys, then when the Death Company charge, they'll get sustained hits and they'll do a bunch of damage. The reason I did not include Foot Slogging Death Company in my Land Raider this video this week was kind of twofold. One is, I never run, and I've been playing 40k for like 20 years. I've never run Foot Slogging Death Company. Maybe like 30 years ago when I didn't own 10 jump packs, I played Foot Slogging Death Company, but very, very quickly, even like 2nd edition, I got all my Death Company with jump packs. So I just don't really play Firstborn Death Company without jump packs. It's just not something I've done. So because of that, I forget that they even exist sometimes. But yeah, I guess the point is, each time a model makes an attack, it is sustained 1, and if the unit is below starting strength, each time a model this unit makes an attack, that attack has sustained 1 ability if the unit is below starting strength, or sustained 2 if it's below half. So, I was thinking about this, like a lot of people are saying you want to kill one of your own guys with a plasma pistol, so then you get sustained hits 1. Well, sustained hits 1, when you have like 40 attacks, right, is basically losing one guy to get sustained hits is going to average maybe, because you would get 40 attacks anyway, right? So if we lose one guy, then we have 36 attacks and we get sustained So maybe we get 42, I guess. So you're hoping that you lose one guy, and that gets you a couple of extra attacks. It's quirky, but I suppose it could be worth it. Yeah, you're right. You could re-roll your 1s and 2s. So potentially you get a few extra sustained for killing one of your own guys. I just don't run these guys, and at the moment, personally, I've only done it once, but I ran Lamartes with 10 Death Company in the Sons of Sanguinius Detachment. Thought it was awesome. So if I'm thinking about Death Company, I'm thinking about 10 with Lamartes, and that's a lot of points. So I don't know if I want another 10-man Death Company. But I guess that would be a good way to do it. If I suppose because these are a different unit, you could make a shed load of Jump Death Company, a shed load of Foot Slogging Death Company. It's possible. Okay, what did he say anything about this list? The Sons of Sanguinius list put together for a local tournament. Lots of jump pack utilising the strength buff to charge up. Captain plus Sanguinary Priest go on the Van Vets. Chaplain goes on Assault Intercessors to really rack up mortals. I suppose a Chaplain with Assault Intercessors does give you 2 ways of getting mortals at the start of every combat. Librarian Infiltrators for the backfield screening as a meta call for guard players who favour indirect to clear them. Yeah, indirect guard is a bit of a problem, and I've played against that, I guess. Okay. Death Company with jump packs, it's 10. They're with Lamartes, and then you've got the Chaplain with Assault Intercessors with jump pack, and the Priest and the Captain with Van Vets. Interesting that he's got all 3 choices. I suppose interesting that he has, I was going to say, 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts and a Repulsor. Executioner feels like a good bit of backfield fire support, with the Phobos Librarian and the Infiltrators being untargetable. Khalid Assassin as well to do actions. 2 squads of Scouts to do actions. He has some shotguns in the squads of Scouts. We were talking about that earlier, how useful they can be. Heavy Intercessors as well, being a really durable unit that can sit on an objective and score points. I kind of like this list. I think this is possibly one of my favourite lists we've seen so far. I was going to say 30 jump units. 10 Assault Intercessors, 10 Death Company, 10 Vanguard Vets. The unit that I don't like the most, actually, out of the 3 choices is the Van Vets, because the Van Vets feel like they need like the double character support, whereas the Assault Intercessors, you're just going, F it, the Assault Intercessors are just going to do mortal wounds on the charge. We're going to put Chaplain with them so they do more mortal wounds as well. Is the Ballistus decent? The Ballistus is decent if you only got 140 points. Play it, man. Honestly, I played the Ballistus in my Gladius list like 20 times. I like it. I honestly prefer the Ballistus to the Lancer, because the thing about the Lancer is it only gets 2 shots. And you end up missing or failing to wound on one, and then it's only 1 hit, and then they just save it on an invulnerable save, and it does no damage. Whereas I felt that Ballistus was more reliable because it was 4 shots. It's cheaper. It can tank shock better. I want to say it's maybe got more OC as well. Maybe it's the same. Maybe it's just 3 OC. Ballistus Dreadnought. Maybe the Dreadnought's 4 OC and the Gladiator Lancer's 3 OC. Let's check. Yeah, Ballistus is 4 OC. The Lancer is 3 OC. Yeah. So the Ballistus hits harder in melee. It feels better. It's cheap. It's got a better save as well. 2 up save and toughness 10, I guess. Yeah, I like the Ballistus. I understand why the Lancer is good. But if you fight up against an army like Demons, where everything's got a fucking 4 up invulnerable save or something, then the Lancer struggles. Yeah, Nico basically says the exact same thing in chat. The Lancer is better into non-invulnerable. So if you come up into any enemies that have no invulnerable saves, then the Lancer is going to be better. If you come up to enemies that have invulnerable saves, and in my experience, like I come up against a Great Unclean one, so I'm going to shoot the Great Unclean one with the Lancer, he's just going to roll 2 4-ups. I'm like, oh great, did 0 damage. But yeah, I mean, if I suppose if you're shooting a Land Raider or something, your -4 would be great. It's kind of one of the reasons I don't play a Repulsor Executioner as well myself now, because The Repulsor's Executioner main cannon is amazing, but it's only 2 shots. You end up failing to hit or wound with one of them, so they only have to take 1 save. They can always CP that 1 save. Why would they not CP that 1 save when it's d6 plus 4 damage, right? Against a las cannon d6 plus 1, maybe they'll CP it, but maybe they won't. Whereas like if it's d6 plus 4, they're like, yeah, I'm going to try and CP that save. And what ends up happening is your like 220 point Repulsor Executioner or your 100 point Gladiator Lancer doesn't feel that valuable. But there's armies that will 100% feel valuable into. Hey guys, where are we on likes? We get 27 likes on this stream. I try and really ask people to help me get to 100 likes on the Army List show every week. So please, can we get 100 likes on the stream? I'm trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. So, more likes. What about rapid ingress? You can't rapid ingress units that don't have deep strike in their profile anymore. So no rapid ingressing Gladiator Lancers. But I mean, you could put like a Vindicator tank in reserve. I think Vindicator tanks are great. I might actually start reserving my Vindicator tanks for my Blood Angels, because I don't actually put that much in reserve. And when I played the Vindicators this week, I couldn't really get them in range. So maybe I need to be putting double Vindicator tank in reserve. Incorrect. You cannot deep strike rapid ingress, but you can walk in from the side. Okay, I need to read the where did they clarify that? Was it in the rules commentary or was it it must be the rules commentary, was it? I didn't actually read that rule myself. Someone told me about it. So let me just check what it says. Core rules errata, rapid ingress. At the end of your movement phase, 1 unit for your army in the reserve. This unit can arrive on the battlefield as if it were a reinforcement step of your movement phase, and if every model in that unit has the deep strike ability, you can set that unit up as described in the deep strike. Oh right, so you can still rapid ingress, you just have to bring them in from the edge, is that correct? Were people bringing rapid ingress models in from reserve in Deep Strike? Is that what was happening? Huh. Okay, well, I mean, I that feels like people didn't read the old rules correctly. Because I don't think that's ever how it was intended to be played. Okay. Tony's list is next. Tony Naranjo. And this is a Sons of Sanguinius Reborn list. We got so many Sons lists to get through. Yeah, this is actually not all of the Sons of Sanguinius lists. If you submitted a Sons of Sanguinius list in the last week, I will try and get you on the show next week. Next week, we might need to do another episode like this where we're just like rapid firing through a shitload of Sons of Sanguinius lists, because it's good. People feel like they want to at least try and play Sons of Sanguinius again. Thank God, because honestly, the viewership on the channel has been down over the last 6 months since 10th edition launched. Like, I was looking at my analytics just because I just look at my analytics, and the channel is like my baby or whatnot, and I have noticed that like I had less members over the last 6 to 9 months, and I was like, yeah, it's because Blood Angels players don't really want to be playing Gladius, but our choices are play Sons of Sanguinius and languish at the bottom of the pack and lose games we should probably win, or play Gladius and do pretty decent, but doesn't feel much like Blood Angels. A lot of people said it's Red Ultramarines and stuff, but I mean, I like to win games and I don't like to lose against people I think I am a better player than. So it's like I've been stuck in this corner of playing Gladius, and I've been doing pretty well with Gladius, but at the same time, it's like, it's not really how I enjoy playing 40k, and I guess it's probably the same. Like a lot of Blood Angels players don't really enjoy playing 40k as a shooting army. They enjoy playing it as a melee. So people have just been coming back. Yeah, thank God, man. Thank God. So let's. The main thing my main takeaway is if we go back to like last edition, armies that were a 45% win rate army, Games Workshop just ignored them. They were like, they're 45% win rate, they're fine. We just ignore them. They just language at the 45% win rate. At least now they're giving buffs to the armies at the very bottom. Big Joe says he's been playing the Vanguard Spearhead since the Codex came out. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. The Vanguard Spearheads, though, I don't want to say it's the worst for melee, but like, there's not even a single stratagem in the Vanguard Spearhead that buffs melee. Nico says he's got 75% win rate using Suns recently. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Nico. I was at like I must have had about 75. 75, it might be a tiny bit generous, but yeah, probably about 75% win rate using Gladius over the last 6 months. The one event I went 3-2. I lost to, what was it, like the guy that won the tournament and the guy that came second or third, and I was literally one dice throw away from beating that guy. So yeah, I'd probably say I was like somewhere between 70 and 80% win rate with Gladius. But did I love playing Gladius as much as I enjoyed playing, let's say, Suns in previous editions? No. Is it harder to play a melee army, or was it harder to play a melee army than a shooting army? Yes. Probably is harder to play a melee army. It's more punishing. But is that what I enjoy doing? Probably, right? So let's look. Another Sons of Sanguinius list. Captain of the Jump Pack, Judiciar, Lamartez, Sanguinary Priest, Sanguinar. Good to see the Sanguinar. I think I'm going to try and see if I can keep him in my list. He did so bad for me this week when I ran him, but I want to try him a couple more times. We got 2 5-man Assault Intercessors with Jump Packs. We've got 6 Blade Guard, 10 Death Company with Jump Packs, 5 Death Company with Jump Packs. I'd probably just remove the Thunder Hammers and just proxy them as Infernal Pistols and Power Fists because Thunder Hammers are garbage. Lancer, 2 Predator Destructors. I actually was running 2 Predator Destructors for a little while. I didn't hate it. Autocannons are nice, 24-inch rapid fire, so you get 6 shots on 24 inches. Cause a couple of las cannons. 2 Scout Squads, 10-man Vanguard Veterans. So 10 Van Vets, 15 Death Company, 10 Assault Intercessors, Blade Guard, Lancer Destructors, the fire support, and a couple of squads of scouts. This one might be a little shy on units that can hold objectives because it doesn't have too much armor, and it doesn't have like any sort of Terminators or Gravis or anything like that. If you haven't used heavy intercessors yet, I would urge you to try it really hard because I think heavy intercessors are actually a really good unit, and they went down in points as well. Is Dante worth it? Asks Troy. Unfortunately not. I don't think so, Troy. I don't know what situation you would run him with. You can attach him to Sanguinary Guard. Sanguinary Guard are too costly, so you'd end up having to attach him to Assault Intercessors or Vanguard Veterans. Both of which feel like they get more benefit from other characters. I guess the maybe the only reason to take him is the +1 to charge, which does help, right? There's a difference between failing a charge and not. Have a look at Kyra Draxis and then consider she can go in heavy intercessors. What is she, an Inquisitor, Reziel? So this Sons of Sanguinius list feels like it might be a little bit light on anti-armor or big firepower or units that can sit on objectives, and also potentially a little bit light on durable units. He said, my thought, most likely we'll start playing against more Custodes, so FF is the topic. Custodes, FF. What does he mean by FF? Predator Destructors will do some damage against Deep Strike, provide support to the Blade Guard, and move block to the centre of the board. Lancer will fill the dedicated anti-tank gap. I think if you have one Lancer, that's probably not going to fill an anti-tank gap, because, like I said earlier, it only gets 2 shots. You probably need 2. Jump Assault Intercessors will provide support to Scouts. Captain, Vanguard Vest, and Sanguinary Priest as an anvil. Lamartis and DC rapid ingressing. I don't know if you need to rapid ingress Lamartis into the DC, but I guess you could. I suppose it depends on if the opponent have indirect fire. I'm tempted to change my Death Company hammers to Inceptors and maybe 1 Jump Assault Intercessors to Vindicator Assassin, but I'm not sure. I don't think I have Vindicator Assassin. I think the Calidus Assassin is the best. The Calidus Assassin might actually help in this list, because she could sit on an objective and hold it and not be shot, and you could move her around as well with her like polymorph ability. I'm wondering if changing the Blade Guard Judiciar with her Redemptor Dreadnought would be a good idea. I actually think the Blade Guard and the Judiciar are a really good squad here. I think if I was going to remove something, it would probably be like... I think you possibly need to remove like 5 Assault Intercessors and like 5 Vanguard Veterans, or like a character, and get one more unit that's going to be quite durable, and or figure out exactly what you're going to do with heavy support, because we just talked about it. If you're fighting demons, a Lancer is going to be very ineffective. Maybe if you got 2 of them, it would work well. But with fight first for Custodes. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that is one thing that I suppose I have thought about a little bit, is like, if you are running a list like this, where like the whole list is based around jump infantry and making charges, if you come into an army with a ton of fight first, you're going to really struggle, right? Like, you're going to struggle to a point where, like, if you can't make charges, you can't win the game. And that was one of the things that I had in the previous edition when I used to play against Death Guard, was it the Foul Blight Spawn used to have like a 12-inch aura where like you just can't charge anything within 12 inches of him, and he would just sit in the middle of the board and create this giant bubble of 24 inches where like you just cannot charge the Death Guard in this 24-inch bubble in the middle, because you would lose, when the Death Guard fight, they kill 3 or 4 models, so you just lose too much. So that's something to consider for sure. Seth with 10 Assault Intercessors and a Sanguinary Priest, says Big Joe Flo. I think a bunch of people are considering 10 Assault Intercessors with some sort of character now for sure. Kyrodrax is a pretty good profile on her own, but she can make a unit she's with not targetable for shooting outside 18. Those heavy intercessors going nowhere. Yeah, I mean, I love heavy intercessors, Reziel, I really do. I thought they were good at 105 points. I think I'd started building my second squad of them. I don't know if I can really fit 2 squads of them into my Sons of Sanguinius list with potentially double Land Raider, but it certainly doesn't hurt. They're a nice unit. Mephiston to counter the fight first. Yeah, the only issue, I suppose, is if you have fight first and you charge, the enemy's still fighting first, right? So if you are running out into an army that has a lot of fight first, you can have, and I guess that's potentially Custodes, and Custodes are better now because obviously their Shield of the Aegis, or their Aegis of the Empire ability finally got fixed, right? If you have fight first and you're the defender, you go, yeah, exactly. So even if you make the charge with fight first, like Mephiston and 10 Assault Intercessors charge, the enemy has fight first. They still fight first before you. So that's something to be... That's maybe why some people think Sons of Sanguinius is still really low. And maybe... that just like reinforces the idea behind Blood Angels fielding like Land Raider Redeemers, for example, so that like if you come up to an enemy with a unit that's got a lot of fight first like that, you can flame the crap out of them, make them weaker. Something like that, right? Okay. Last list for tonight. And we're back on Gladius. So someone has said, fuck it, we're still sticking on Gladius. I've been out of the hobby for 15 years and I came back and decided to be loyal to my boys in red. The game's changed a lot, so you give me some tips, that would be great. Okay, so I guess this is... We covered a ton of Sons of Sanguinius. We see the sort of trends that are coming out of there. We have a Gladius list with Apothecary with Fire Discipline, a Captain who's with Jump Intercessors. We've got Lamartes with a Death Company. We've got Librarian with Assault Intercessors. Interesting choice. I don't know. Actually, don't know what a Librarian buffs Assault Intercessors with. What would he buff Assault Intercessors with? No idea. Firstborn Librarian, isn't it? Give you like a 4-up feel no 4-up invulnerable save, isn't it? Yeah. All right. And he gets a 4-up feel no pain against psychic attacks for whatever that's worth. You got the Sanguinary Priest. So you've got 5 Assault Intercessors, I guess they're with the Librarian. You've got the Impulsor. We don't see many Impulsors, that's for sure. We got the Assault Intercessor with Jump Pack times 10. We get the Death Company with Power Fist and Plasmas times 10. We've got Eradicators. We've got Double Lancer, which I much prefer to a single Lancer. We have 10 Hellblasters. We have a Librarian Dreadnought, so I guess the Hellblasters, they attached by anything? Probably an Apothecary, yeah, with the Fire Discipline. Okay, Fire Discipline Hellblasters is not a bad choice. I do think Aggressors are better, but it's certainly not a bad choice. And then the Vanguard Veterans, which were not attached to it. Oh, they're with the Sanguinary Priest. Okay. Okay, yeah, do you know what? If you're just coming back and you've not played in a long time, this list actually doesn't look too bad. The Priest with Seth keeps the squad going. AP3 Blood Reaver is the truth. Like I said, it wrecked so many things this weekend. 50-something AP2 Chainsword attacks is no joke either. Yeah, the only reason I don't run Seth, and do you know what's funny, is I actually sprayed the Seth that I made today. But the only reason I don't run Seth is because he obviously limits you to taking Lamartes, and like I think Lamartes is great. But I actually got outside and sprayed this guy today. So this is my custom built Gabriel Seth. You can't see him for shit with the lighting here right now, but I wonder if I put that light on there, if you can see him. Maybe. So I sprayed my custom Seth today, but yeah, I think Seth. I think there is other great ways to make those Assault Intercessors good, and I think one of the things to do is attach that Sanguinary Priest for sure. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say this list isn't too bad. Librarian with Assault Intercessors seems like an odd choice. It's certainly not a meta pick. The Sanguinary Priest with Van Vets, fine. I generally feel like if you're attaching characters to squads, it's better to attach them to larger squads. So attaching like your Captain to 5 and the Vanguard Sanguinary Priest to 5, I feel like it might be better to just like lose one of those characters and attach it to a 10, or just make it a 10 and attach both characters to them. I'd probably say that's better. I mean, you already have the 10 there and you already have the 10 here, so maybe what I do is I'd attach the Priest to this one and then just lose your Vanguard Veterans. Maybe that would be the option to take the Heavy Intercessors in this list, where you've got a dedicated unit of Gravis to just sit on an objective and not die for the entire game. The cool thing about Heavy Intercessors, you've got Librarian Dreadnought, you can teleport them around later. You know, they're just going to be sitting on an objective or something waiting to be teleported. I just realised exactly what the third Blood Angel's attachment will be. It'll be a Flesh Tears one. I hope it's not trash. I think there will be at least one Flesh Tears attachment, surely, won't there? What I don't understand is, why are you taking tough units for your home field objective? I was going to say, have you played against Imperial Guard, Nico, or have you played against Tau with all the indirect, or Chaos Knights with all the indirect fire? You'll lose like a whole squad of intercessors to indirect fire every turn against all 3 of those armies, or more. And for some reason, all that indirect fire is stupid range on it, like 48-inch range. They just hit you right across the board anywhere you are. So you'll just lose your home field objective to crap loads of strength 5 indirect. The nerf to cover against, like, yeah, the nerf to cover on 3-up save units to indirect is really horrible. So yeah, this isn't too bad a list. The Eradicators are going to probably be the question mark, because like I don't know how you really deliver them. Eradicators work best in a transport. If you are teleporting them with Librarian Dreadnought, you can never get them into Melta range, so they're never doing full damage. But this isn't too bad a Gladius list for sure, especially if you've been out of the hobby for a while. What you could do, Logan, is jump over onto the BA, like, wherever it is. Have I got it here? What would be worth doing is jumping onto the Blood Angels Commander channel here and going to videos. And this video here was a Gladius list that did amazingly well at a tournament. And this one here, Roll 2+ for Glory, was my Gladius list that could have done amazing for at a tournament, but apparently I can't roll a 2+. So both those videos would be worth having a look at if you're looking for like strongish Gladius lists that are viable right now. But I think Blood Angels are still strong in Gladius. So much so that I'm probably, like, there's a tournament in my local city in like 3 weeks' time. I'm probably not going to go to it just because my kids are being. I got a 2-year-old and I got a 4-year-old, and they're so hard work at the moment. So it's like really shitty for me to just leave my wife with them all weekend when she needs a break after having them all week while I'm at work, right? So I'm probably just going to have to give it like 3 months, 6 months before I go to my next tournament. So it's probably a good thing for me, actually. It gives me time to play a bunch of Sons of Sanguinius games, and if I feel like we're not there yet with Sons of Sanguinius, then I'll probably play Gladius to the other tournament. But I think Sons of Sanguinius is much, much better than it was. And I guess you got to try it out for yourself, try out some combinations. And that's what I'm going to be doing on my stream. The next stream will be Tuesday night. I'm playing Drukhari for the first time in 10th edition. So that'll be 7:30 on Tuesday night. I'm going to play Drukhari. I think I'm playing against the new Drukhari detachment, whatever that's called. And yeah, I was going to say the last time I played Drukhari was probably a GT, probably like a year ago. And was it? Yeah, probably just. Do you know what? I played James on stream probably like 18 months ago. And I think we had a game where it was like 84 points each or something. He was trashing me the whole game, but somehow I managed to bring it back to a draw in like the final turn. If you fell in love with the Dreamer, try the Firestorm detachment over a Gladius. Yeah, maybe, because I'm kind of upset that I think aggressors are kind of. I don't want to say aggressors are dead, but aggressors are really getting super expensive point wise. By the time you attach your characters and the relics, sorry, not the relics, the enhancements, the aggressor squad is getting so expensive, and they don't have invulnerable saves. I guess in the Firestorm detachment as well, they get that cool ability to auto roll a 6 as well every turn, which will definitely help. Because usually the shit that kills aggressors is like las cannons. People kill aggressors with loads of high AP firepower, so being able to just auto 6 against some of that las cannon fire or something would actually be really good. Lord Commander Joe says, good evening, great to be here. Any advice for a new player? I mean, subscribe, Joe. I make videos every week. If you are a new player, there was a video on the channel just last week. Where was it? It was is only Primaris viable for Blood Angels? That would be worth watching. I did a 1,000-point list and a 2,000-point list of Primaris units. They are the new units that you can buy, obviously. And yeah. So that about wraps the stream for tonight. Someone was saying at the start of the stream, though, that the... Oh, did this sell out already? Oh no, it's pre-order. Hold on a minute. Someone said at the start of the stream that the new releases. Let's have a look. Oh. I'm sure that's not the new website isn't very good. I honestly haven't really used the new website at all. I usually use Element Games because they have like their discounts and stuff. But so this is, yeah, okay, look, here you've got the Librarian Terminator Armor. He was from the Leviathan box. God, where go to the community. All right, go to the community and click. Ah, here it is. Space Marines return this.
And stand for pre-ordered Legions Imperial, Valdor Legions Imperialis, group of Wildercorp. Head over to tips and on Warhammer community to find out more.
No. All right. So please note that all pre-orders will be standard 2 week. So we can buy the Terminator Captain with some assembly options. You can have a combi weapon or a power fist. We can buy the Heroes of the Chapter. They look like they basically have the same weapons that they had in the actual box, along with the Gravis one. We can buy the individual Ballistus Dreadnoughts. I guess they have no weapon options, right? The Inferno Squad. The Scouts. Scouts do look cool, but I'm going to still use my Firstborn Scouts. Was that it? That's underwhelming. Yeah, I feel like that's meg underwhelming. This is what Ardeen was telling me about, though. This is a 20th edition anniversary of Deuce and Carmine, which I've never read this book. What does it say about it? Blood Angels fight against division in their ranks, and one of their own is declared to be the reincarnation of Sanguinius himself. Is this a good book? Anyone read it? £22 on limited pre-order. Pre-order ship. Or have I missed this? Was this today? Probably missed it. Ugh. I hate these limited edition pre-orders. It's like you either miss them or they get scalped. I did send the one away for the person that won my raffle, by the way. The raffle is finished. We made over $1,000 for charity. Thanks to everyone that bought a raffle ticket. Alright, I'm going to head off. The stream lasted way longer than I was planning. Lots and lots of Sons of Sanguinius lists. If you have a Sons of Sanguinius list that you want to... I was going to buy this as well, because I've never read it. Did I miss it? If you have a Sons of Sanguinius list or a Gladius list or another list, if you wanna get your list on next week's show or in a show in the near future, please put your list into the comments of this video after the stream ends. That's how we do it, and then I'll pick them up and get them onto the next week's show. Okay. Cool. So Tuesday night, battle against Drukhari. I'm really upset that I've missed this now. I need to pay. I am really busy Monday through Friday at the moment with my day job. We've got like a new release coming up and it's super busy. So I miss stuff like this now. Alright, have a great weekend everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If you didn't hit the like button on the stream yet, please do that. And I will catch you guys Tuesday night hopefully. And then if not, I'll see you next week. Take care. Peace.